Good evening and welcome to the Guilderland Central School District's Board of Education meeting. Today is September 30th. Can everyone please silence their cell phones, or hopefully they don't have them, and stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so welcome everyone. We have a robust crowd this evening. If we could start with public comment, we'd like to start with Rachel Mormino.
Good evening. I'm here to let the school board and the community know about an incident that happened to my child. I may need to run over the 3 minutes allotted to me. My neighbor is next in line to speak and will finish my prepared remarks should I run over. On the third day of school, Linwood lost my 4-year-old kindergartner for about an hour. My husband discovered he was missing when he failed to get off at the bus stop in front of our home. During that next hour, no one was able to locate him. We discovered that there were multiple flaws in the dismissal procedure, which directly led to them losing him. Number one, his teacher did not hand him off to an adult on the bus. She pointed him in the right direction and could not confirm if he boarded the correct bus. Number two, our bus driver did not have a list of children who boarded that day, or if he did, he must not have taken attendance. Number three, when the call went out on the radio to all the bus drivers to check for our son, they were unable to locate him. Despite multiple attempts, some of those buses did not answer that call at all. Number four, when the school discovered what bus he was on by checking cameras for dismissal and told the driver to pull over and find him, it was reported back that he was not on that bus and no child met that description. We know this because my husband was left in the Linwood vestibule area when he rushed to the school upon discovering my son was missing. While standing there waiting, he was given limited updates. However, he could overhear everything going on. When it was reported by the bus driver our son was not on the bus, my husband called 911. He was then told the school already did notify law enforcement. It was later found out that he was indeed on that bus, and the driver did not visually check. That is clear because he was given an accurate description of our son and what he was wearing. It is possible, he asked, is Brody on this bus? However, my son is a shy kid who would not likely say, I'm here, if the bus driver just yelled out his name. Our son was eventually discovered at a daycare program about 5 miles away from our home. We live near Gate Farm. He was found on Schoolhouse Road out near Stuyvesant Plaza. So he not only had successfully boarded the wrong bus, but he then got off at a random stop without anybody noticing. Number 7, how did we eventually find our son? When a staff member at Linwood called every stop on the bus route and finally discovered he was at the last stop. The daycare had accepted that child off of the bus who was not a part of their program. When we retrieved our son, he was sitting with an unknown program director at the daycare and a police officer, since my husband and the school called 911. I'm here tonight because the school failed my child. As a teacher myself in an elementary school, I know the procedures we have in place to keep our children safe. There are multiple checks and balances to make sure students get on the correct bus. The driver has a complete list of students who board that day, procedures for searching the bus, and extra caution, particularly for kindergartners, to make sure they get off at the correct stop. We did receive an apology from both the principal and the superintendent with promises of change. The school informed us they are going to start a checklist. I gave several other suggestions, such as tags for kids with bus number and first name, personnel at every bus checking kids off, more staff present at dismissal, etc. However, I was informed of the main priority being that checklist. This concerns me because that is only one safeguard being stressed at this school. The multiple failures of this district could have resulted in a terrible tragedy. Our son could have gotten off at any stop and attempted to cross one of the many busy roads. A stranger could have picked him up. We're grateful that he was found at that daycare rather than with a stranger who may have preyed on him. I would like to see all of our elementary schools implement procedures that will ensure this does not happen to any other child in their care. Thank you.
Thank you. You want to do it now?
So normally we don't comment in public comment, but I want to let you know that we have taken steps to address the concerns that you have to streamline and ensure that our procedures are consistent across our elementary dismissals. We are relabeling our buses with numbers and symbols to help make it easier for our younger students to identify what bus they should be getting on. We will be working on procedures for provide a label or tag with their name and what bus run they should be on to help as a visual check. We have retrained staff both in building and on the buses as well as to the procedures that should take place, as well as at transportation center to ensure when a radio call goes out that we do in fact, everyone shuts down until that child is found. And if your bus is identified as the bus that the child is on, you need to find a safe place to stop and ensure that they are on the bus. We call the bus specifically when we know the child got on that specific bus. So those are some of the procedures I just wanted to follow up. And we were very fortunate on that day that it ended well. Your child was found safe, unfortunately with strangers. We did fail you on that day, and we do take that very seriously and are aimed to move forward so it doesn't happen again.
Thank you. Before we move on to the next public comment, I'm sorry, I forgot to read the little blurb here. The Board of Education encourages public participation at its meetings and recognizes its responsibility to hear public comment. An acknowledgement of the public comment, either orally or in writing, will be provided as appropriate after the meeting. As a matter of practice, the Board of Education does not typically engage in dialogue during the public comment period. There will be 2 opportunities at each regular board meeting for public comments to be heard. Although the Board of Education welcomes comments about programs offered by the district and other aspects of the district's operation, the board expressly prohibits public comment that would infringe on a particular person's or student's privacy rights, would be disruptive of the board meeting, or create some safety issue. Persons who desire to speak to the board about specific issues relating to employees or other confidential matters should request an executive session in a letter to me, briefly outlining the issues to be discussed, and granting such requests will be at the discretion of the board. Okay, and with that, could we please have Ms. Ritter?
I am passing. I was here to support my neighbor, and I don't need to say anything, so thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for supporting our community member. Matthew Grunert? Did I say that?
That's Grutter, thank you.
Ritter, okay. Sorry.
Good evening, folks. My name is Matthew Grutter. I'm one of the trustees over at the Guilderland Public Library. I'm here today to invite you, the Board of Education, to join us in exploring how we can build avenues of communication and collaboration between our organizations so that we can better support our residents in their utilization of our services and our executives in accomplishing our organizational missions. The Library Board has discussed this collaborative exploration in our own sessions, and I have the blessing of my board to make this offer to you tonight. I'm excited to share that I've broached this same discussion with the town and have received their interest in turn. I'd like 2 members of each board and the board's respective executives to participate in our initial discussions, which I'm hoping to schedule in the coming months. Community is built intentionally, and I'm looking forward to continuing that work together. I've left my contact information with the clerk, and I eagerly await your response. Thank you for your time tonight.
Great. Thank you very much. Now, oh goodness. Oh, David Dwyer. Yes, okay.
Sorry, everybody. My name's David Dwyer. I'm one of the bus drivers for the CTE out to Schoharie. And for the senior year, the kids have a course that's called English Integration. Sounds like an English class. But in reality, it's actually they actually teach them how to get a job, resumes, interviews, how to do proposals, so much stuff that they even discuss talking about negotiating a wage. And I'll be frank, I think the CTE kids are more prepared for real life than my own daughter, who's a senior. And I think it should be a right of all the seniors to get some, basically that sort of class, even if it's for a couple of weeks or, you know, some night classes or something, so that they, when they graduate, they can, you know, be successful getting a job. We can give them all the college education, or they can just fail out. But without those skills, they won't get out of their parents' basement.
Thank you. And now Coach Sykes.
I don't know if this thing comes down at all, but I'll go up on my tippy toes. Good evening, everyone. I want to start out by saying I'm a proud employee of Guilderland. As a teacher and coach, I've been fortunate to work for not one, but two amazing athletic directors in my career, in Regan Johnson and Dave Austin. I'm so honored to lead the Lady Dutch field hockey program. Several of the families, players, and our youth players came to support me in speaking tonight, and I've been leading the program for 9 seasons. Through rebuilding, championships, COVID time, all the things that were quite challenging, to where we won back-to-back section titles in 2023 and 2024. Last night, my team showed the heart of a lion, defeating a talented Suburban Council rival in double overtime, and I'm excited about what they can do this season. But why I'm here is because last week I sent an email to the district office team and the Board of Education, and I'm asking that you please consider looking into the equity and paid assistance at the varsity level for the district. The facts are the field hockey program has never had a paid varsity assistant since its integration in 2002. Sports that are field-based include girls and boys soccer, girls and boys lacrosse, and flag football. They all have paid assistants. I'm getting older. The job's not getting easier for me physically. Field hockey has 4 major lines of positions that include offense, midfield, defenders, and goalkeepers. Our goalies alone need coaching and feedback constantly to keep them safe. As the only paid and hired coach by the district at the varsity level, I'm stretched pretty thin. I often worry about liability. How can I supervise a turf full of athletes while providing 24 athletes? I coach the feedback, support, demonstration, and coaching that I feel they deserve. I know budgets are tight. We're not asking for more. We're just asking for equity. Equity across what I'm asked to do, one of 24, where everybody else of equal positions or less, they're having 2 coaches for their 24 athletes. So if this could be maybe a conversation that the Board of Ed and the district office team have, we would greatly appreciate it. And we appreciate all the support. We've never felt not supported. I just think, you know, we have a diversity, equity, and inclusion team. I don't think it's ever really taken the look at athletics. And I think it's a hard sell for me to say, hey, I do the job of 2 people. I'll keep doing it, but a little support would be really awesome. So thank you for listening and taking the time.
Coach Sykes, before you leave, I do have a question. I feel like this is not the first time I'm hearing this from you. I feel like I've heard it in the past. So when approximately is the first time that you brought it to the attention of the board?
I mean, I've always kind of brought it to the attention. We've talked about it in the athletic department. I know I talked to you individually maybe 2 years ago. I put the request in every year. I just know that it, you know, the money's tight, but.
Thank you. And I
Yep.
think, Mr. Austin, we did speak about it publicly. At one point, we were discussing the budget, the notion of assistant coaches in general.
Yeah, I mean, there's 9 Suburban Council teams that have field hockey, 7 have paid assistants. Guilderland and Niskayuna do not. So that's just a little facts with,
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and then Amanda, is it, what is it? Amanda C? Amanda Sentinel? Am I saying it wrong? Maybe was it?
That's the,
Was
that's
it
the
in-
online.
Oh, it should be Amanda.
It says Amanda.
Amanda C. Maybe it's an email. Hold on. Well, can you look and see if it's an email for Amanda CET?
Yep, that's the one that we just got.
Okay, so I'm gonna do that one last because I like to do the in-persons. Avery Ralston. Are you here? Great, okay.
Does this move?
I
Okay.
think you can pull it. Let's see, hold that
Pull
one.
the actual microphone down. You can pull the,
Oh, oh.
there you go.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Ava Ralston, and I'm a freshman on the JV field hockey team. I'm one of the captains, and on behalf of our team, we are asking the board to consider adding a paid assistant coach for varsity. The Guilderland School District and the entire field hockey program are incredibly lucky to have some of the best team of coaches. On and off the field, they teach the values of teamwork, self-discipline, and determination. They challenge us, believe in us, and are not only shaping us as field hockey players, but also as individuals. But they are spread thin, and Coach Sykes needs help. She has 24 players on her team. As a school board, I know you want the best for every student, and you want to prepare them for life beyond high school with the tools and resources they need to succeed. You have many student athletes that dream of playing their sport in college, and some who are relying on those athletic scholarships to even make it possible for them to attend. The Guilderland Field Hockey Program, under the leadership of Coach Sykes, has helped so many athletes get to that next level, but she needs another coach to assist her. If the school pays for an assistant coach for many other varsity sports, we want our team to have that support as well. It would benefit our whole program and allow Coach Sykes to continue doing all that she does with every grade level. It would also allow us to stay competitive. All but one of the schools we play against is a paid assistant giving their teams additional guidance and instruction. We are so proud to be a part of the field hockey family, and we hope you will consider our request. Thank you.
Thank you. Alice Caviones now.
Hi, I'm Alice. I'm a senior on the varsity field hockey team, and I've been on the team for 3 years. Everything's pretty much been said that we wanted to get across, but I also wanted to bring up another point that I know you talked about the budget being kind of a thing in our paid assistant, but I just wanted to bring up that the girls' flag football team is a very new team, and they already have a paid assistant coach. So I think it's only fair that we get the same equity because we've been trying this for many years, and a new team that just came in has already gotten it right off the bat. So I just think that's something to consider. Thank you.
True, thank you. Lydia Santa Barbara.
Hi, I'm Lydia Santa Barbara. I'm a junior, and I have been on the varsity field hockey team for 3 years. Again, I agree with everything that's been said, and I'd also like to say that we have been a very successful team for the past 3 years I've been on here, and we are the reigning champs for 2 years. And the fact that we don't have a paid coach for all the hard work we've been putting in, same as Coach, the countless hours she puts in, not to just varsity, but to our youth program and helping out with JV and modified. Her time is spread thin, and she's doing the best she can, but everyone wants her time, but everyone cannot get her time.
Thank you. Marissa Bibbo.
Hi, I'm Marissa. I'm a junior on the varsity field hockey team. This is my first year. To kind of finish it all up, everything that they just said, but we have a 24-to-1 ratio, and when we're doing multiple drills for all of our different positions, it's really hard for Coach Sykes just to be in 5 areas at one time, and it'd just be really nice to get someone to be on the sideline with her to help us out. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think the last comment regarding field hockey is an email, so I'm just going to read that real quick. Okay. To whom it may concern, my name is Amanda Kay Sentinel, and I am the parent of a modified field hockey player at Guilderland. I'm writing tonight because our program deserves the same benefits as the other sports programs at Guilderland. We need a paid assistant coach, just like the soccer, lacrosse, and flag football programs. My daughter, Safi, just started at the modified level this year, but has been playing youth field hockey for Coach Sykes for the past 3 years. She absolutely loves playing for Coach Sykes. Coach Sykes is a whirlwind of energy, but would be able to do so much more for the field hockey program with a paid assistant coach. Leading 100 plus youth players each week in drills, skills, and tournaments is too much for one person to handle alone. Our coach of the year and 2-time Section 2 championship coach shouldn't have to beg for a paid assistant coach to further support this incredible program. This small change would benefit dozens of young scholar athletes for years to come. I sincerely hope that you will consider this change. Thank you for your support of Lady Dutch Field Hockey. Most sincerely, Amanda K. Sentinel. Okay, so thank you to everyone that came out. We definitely hear you loud and clear. I've had a child that played field hockey, so I understand your concerns firsthand, and the board will get back to you as we discuss things. Okay? Thank you very much. I also don't feel like you need to stay. You're welcome to if you'd like to. I do have more public comments to read, but I wanted to give you that opportunity in case you have to go to the college fair or have homework. Or go to bed. Thank you. Okay, and now we're going to go to, bear with me, I lost track. Claire Depew.
I'm supposed to be here tonight, but I guess something. She was going to talk about it.
Did I miss one?
No.
Hi. I'm here to say that I am uncomfortable and my friends are uncomfortable. I recently switched to the Academy of Holy Names in Albany, and I take a transfer bus here every 2 days out of every week. And the past couple days, a kid who I will not name, but he had a kill list the past 2 years and was expelled from Guilderland, is on my bus. And I am uncomfortable. My friends who know who this kid is are uncomfortable. We don't feel safe on this bus. We don't feel safe knowing that this kid is there. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Depew. And now Deidre.
Thank you. I just wanted to reiterate, so I have two things. First, I'll just follow up with what my daughter said. Speaking of busing failures, I think one of the things, I do at work is risk assessments and compensating controls. And I think that a year ago, in this very meeting at the board, you knew that there was a risk with this individual and you came up with a compensating control for how things would be to make other children feel safe. And I'm asking you to do the same thing in your busing situation. You have a risk. Please make sure my child feels safe on the bus by putting in a compensating control, whether that's an adult that is with this individual, as I was told you were going to do when they were here in Guilderland. They're still on a Guilderland school bus with Guilderland children, and there's no compensating control on that bus. Unless you tell me John Wick is the driver every day, I don't know that there's a compensating control to keep our children safe, but their feelings are valid. The second item I wanted to talk about goes back to our special education. Again, thank you for our wonderful teachers. Lovely program. First 2 weeks of school, got notifications that my son was having issues. I'm like, okay, is his meds balanced? Did he get enough sleep last night? Do we need to do this? Do we need to do that? Try to dig in to figure out what's going on. Turned out that the aides were pulled to cover other places where there were staffing shortages, and substitute aides or supports were brought in to the self-contained special education classroom where all of these kids have very specific needs. And then those supports that were brought in didn't know these kids and didn't know what to do, so they just brought them back to the teacher when they started having problems. So when you're looking at staffing and filling voids, maybe don't pull from the special education self-contained classroom where those paraprofessionals are very good at their jobs managing our kids and making me worry about medications and doctors and all these other things that weren't at play. It was that you had people there who didn't know my kid supporting them. So if you could please, again, don't pull from the special education classroom that's already working really hard down one teacher. So, thank you.
Thank you. Did you want to comment at all? You don't have to, I'm just wondering. Alrighty, and I think that's it. I think we're good.
There's a couple there that I think.
Okay, never mind, just a moment. Jill, Abby. Oh, yes, we have some that were written in. My apologies. We have a plethora of them this evening. Oh, and you used big font. Thank you. Okay. Dear members of the Guilderland Central School District Board of Education, I am writing to express serious concern regarding the current condition of the tennis courts at Guilderland High School and to respectfully request immediate action to resurface the existing courts and consider expanding the facility in the near future. The courts are in a state of disrepair with cracks, uneven surfaces, and worn-out areas that poses clear safety hazard to our student athletes. My daughter, who is a member of the tennis team, has already rolled her ankle since the beginning of the season due to the poor condition of the courts. Injuries like this are preventable, and it is deeply troubling that our athletes are being put at risk simply by practicing on their home courts. Beyond safety, the current facilities do not reflect the dedication and hard work of our tennis players. These students train tirelessly, represent our school with pride, and deserve an environment that supports their growth and performance. Unfortunately, our courts fall far short of the standards seen in neighboring districts, all of which have invested in high-quality tennis facilities. This disparity not only affects morale, but also places our teams at a competitive disadvantage. Resurfacing the courts and adding more would be a meaningful investment in our students' well-being and athletic development. It would demonstrate that Guilderland values its athletes and is committed to providing equitable resources across all sports programs. Our tennis players deserve safe, functional, and competitive facilities that match their dedication and talent. I urge the board to take swift action to address this issue. Thank you for your time and for your continued commitment to the students of Guilderland. Sincerely, Naveen Raphael. Okay. Next, Kristen Hassan submits. As you know, the tennis courts are very important to both the school community and the larger Guilderland community. Students and town residents use the courts. They are in need of repair. There are broken gates, cracks, divots, and flooding issues. They also are below the standards of schools throughout our area. Our family hopes that you make repairs to the courts to ensure the safety of those who use them. We also hope that you look at broader needs for the tennis community and East Campus of the school. Similar to how the district invested in the track and turf field several years ago, it's time to improve this part of campus. Creating additional courts in the east part of campus would vastly improve the tennis experience for our teams, the Guilderland community, and other students traveling to compete in meets at Guilderland. If you do consider a larger project in the area of this area of campus, we hope that you also take into account the needs of mobility, impaired spectators, and the greater Guilderland community, who could benefit from work in that area, including widening the East Drive, especially near the turn for student parking. Thank you for your consideration of these improvements and for all that you do for the Guilderland community. Thank you, Ms. Hassan. Dear Guilderland Central School District Board of Education, Superintendent Mayberry, and Athletic Director Dave Austin, I'm writing to advocate for the creation of a modified 9-girls volleyball team for the 26-27 school year. Interest in volleyball has grown rapidly in recent years, and we are seeing an increasing number of girls eager to participate in the sport. To give you a quick example, in our own district, enough girls are being cut from the girls volleyball program to make more than one other team. Unfortunately, with only JV and varsity available at the high school, a large number of girls who want to play are unable to do so. Adding a girls Mod 9 volleyball team would provide opportunities for more students to be involved, build foundational skills, and develop their athletic potential in a supportive environment. Beyond the sport itself, participation in team athletics has been shown to promote confidence, resilience, and healthy peer relationships, all benefits that are especially important for students as they continue to recover socially and emotionally from the pandemic. By expanding volleyball opportunities, we not only nurture athletic talent, but also strengthen school spirit, foster teamwork, and ensure that most students can benefit from the positive academic and social outcomes associated with extracurricular involvement. I understand that when developing the budget, there are often competing needs for a particular budget line. Please consider the return on investment when adding a 9th grade girls volleyball team. I know the cost will be minimal to the overall budget, but you will significantly impact many students in the district because of the ripple effect of adding this team. Overall, more students will be involved in school, which is a win. I hope you will consider the many benefits of establishing a Mod 9 girls volleyball team. I would be happy to help gather additional information or assist in any way to move this idea forward. Thank you for your time and support. Sincerely, Seema Rivera. Thank you, Regent Rivera, for your comments. And now we have one more from Lisa McGuire. To whom it may concern, my name is Lisa McGuire, and I am the parent of a modified field hockey player at Guilderland. I am writing because her program deserves the same benefits as the other sports programs at Guilderland. We need a paid assistant coach, just like the soccer, lacrosse, and flag football programs. My daughter started field hockey a year and a half ago at the end of 5th grade when we learned about the youth field hockey program run by Jennifer Sykes. The opportunity to try field hockey as a youth gave my daughter the confidence to try out for the modified team this year. This was the first sport she showed the most interest in after trying other trying other sports and other youth programs, and it is because of Coach Sykes that made it fun and a fun learning experience for our girls that she continued. My daughter has grown as a player in just a year and a half. I also have a younger daughter who has had an opportunity to try field hockey because of Coach Sykes, and I hope she can continue it as a player in middle school and high school. Coach Sykes runs a great program for the girls at Guilderland and deserves to have the same support as other sports in the district. Thank you for your consideration and support of Lady Dutch field hockey. Lisa McGuire. Any more, Kim?
No.
Are you sure? Okay. All right, yes. Well, I would in all sincerity, like to thank everybody who submitted a public comment. I think it's a positive that the community gets involved and voices their opinions and their concerns. Dave is on the agenda, right? So okay. All right, so then we'll move on with the agenda and go to our our high school student representatives.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ryan Ranka. I'm one of your Board of Education student representatives.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Parth Sarecha, and I'm the other student board representative. It's such an honor to be here tonight. So to start off, we wanted to update you guys on what's been going on at the past week here at GHS, namely our Spirit Week, Spirit Rally, and Homecoming Weekend. So Spirit Week was occurring when student government chose themes for students to follow on every day of the week. For example, Monday was Pajama Day, where students wear pajamas. Tuesday, we had off. Wednesday was anything but a backpack day, so you bring something to bring your materials that's not a backpack. I brought a wagon, for example, that I wheeled around school. Thursday was teachers dressed as Gru and students dressed as Minions. And Friday was Wear Red as Guilderland. And this was done intentionally because Friday was the day of our Spirit Rally. So the Spirit Rally is a day where we kind of just increase school spirit for Guilderland by getting the entire school together in the West Gym. And there's a lot of things that go on. There's grade level games. There's performances, like chamber choir performed, for example, and the whole school did karaoke to Don't Stop Believin'. So it's just a day to get Guilderland spirit up, and that's also in preparation for the homecoming football game. So the varsity football game played Albany this Friday at our homecoming game, and this was also preceded by the Color Tailgate hosted by International Club, which is where students can buy color, and usually students will wear white for this. They'll wear white, and color is thrown like all across. The students buy color and they throw it at each other. There's even a leaf blower there that they put color into and like start spraying it everywhere. And so then everybody gets a bunch of color on them, red, blue, green, and we go covered in these colors all the way to the football game and play and watch our football team play a homecoming game. And that game definitely went very, very well. We beat Albany very, very comfortably, 38-0. And we celebrated that win with our homecoming dance on Saturday. And the homecoming dance was held from 7:30 to 10 o'clock. I don't want to say too much on how the student body felt because it's very, very hard for me as one person to get an accurate reading. But I will say that from who I did ask, I got pretty decent reviews from our DJ this year, DJ Bump. And also the line for homecoming this year was very, very, very big. Usually I wait if you can envision it, when you enter towards the West Gym, there's this wall over here. Usually when I go, this wall is halfway filled up. It takes about 5 minutes to get in. This time, this whole entire wall was filled, and the half wall going that way as well. So I definitely saw that happening as well, which I don't want to say means there was more participation, but definitely I did see a lot of people there, which was really, really nice to see. Now I'll hand it off to Ryan. Thank you so much.
And if you can believe it, Parth actually didn't mention everything that's happened in the past week. One notable thing I want to bring up to you all is the TEDx event that was hosted by 2 Guilderland seniors on Saturday. This was an event where actually GHS students got the opportunity to give TED Talks, and it was an official TED event. From all the people that I have talked to, they received it really well. If you want to go back and listen to it, it's recorded on the GHS media page. You can hear our own Parth Sarecha. He gave a TED Talk. It was wonderful. And topics spanned everywhere from the medical field to Rubik's Cubes to the art of socializing. And I definitely recommend you all to see what GHS students are thinking and what really interests them. Another thing, you kind of stole my thunder earlier, but we do have the college fair going on tonight. It's an exciting event for students of all grade levels to get to learn about colleges, meet admissions rep. I think it's a very helpful experience, so I'm sure they're all at the college fair now, but it's a great time. And then coming up this Friday, October 3rd, is going to be the end of their interim for the first quarter, and then the interim reports will come out the following Friday, October 10th. The interim isn't a official grading period ends the way that a quarter would be, but the interim marks the halfway mark. And the important thing students should make sure they're keeping in mind is that many students will use the interim mark as a way to say no late work after this period. So definitely keep that in mind. Students will be able to kind of see how they're doing, if you can believe it, already 5 weeks into the school year, which is crazy to me. So that's all the parts that I have for you tonight. It was a pleasure getting to see you all again, having this meeting.
Great. Thank you so much, Ryan. Thank you, Parth. Okay, and now we're going to move on to our independent audit reports.
Hi there. My name is Jill Tice. I am a partner with Weston Company. We have completed the district's annual external audit. Everyone should have a copy. I will start by saying the audit went very well. We've gone through in detail with the audit committee, so I will just hit some of the highlights. So on page 1 is our independent auditor's report. This is the first of 4 audit reports that the district receives. This is our report on the financial statements, and it is an unmodified or clean audit opinion, so that is the highest that you can receive. Page 4 starts the management's discussion and analysis. This goes from pages 4 through 13, and it's more of a narrative summary. If you don't wish to read the entire 70-some page document, this is more of a summary. It compares the current year to the prior year and gives more background. The first of the actual statements starts on page 14. So the district has 2 types of statements within these financial statements. There are government-wide statements and fund-based statements. Page 14 is your statement of net position, which is your first government-wide statement, and it shows all short-term and long-term assets and liabilities of the district. You will see total assets of the district were just under $184 million as of year end, and the largest portion of that is the capital assets net of depreciation of about $135 million. This is the land, buildings, and equipment of the district, and the cost of those is recognized over their estimated useful lives. The liabilities, the amounts owed to others, in total were just over $307 million. A few items to note here. The bond anticipation notes payable of just over $29 million. That is your short-term capital project financing. The bonds payable of about $38 million are your long-term financing. And the largest liability is your other post-employment benefits liability of just under $217 million. All districts are required to have an actuary determine the cost to provide health insurance to employees and retirees of the district and to record this liability, but New York State does not allow you to set aside any funds for the future liability. You're only allowed to budget for each year's insurance premiums. So therefore, you end up in a deficit net position at the bottom of the page because you have a large liability and you're not allowed to have any offsetting assets. This is the same for all districts, so it is not unique to Guilderland, but it does make it look as though you have a very poor position. But it is just due to the fact that you have to record that liability, but you can't set aside funds for that liability. The second of your government-wide statements is on the next page. So this is your statement of activities and changes in net position. This shows your revenues and expenses, but it includes government-wide expenses such as the changes in that other post-employment benefits liability and non-cash expenses like your depreciation. Page 16 is the first of your fund-based statements. This is how you're more used to seeing the financial activity of the district. So you do have 6 different funds. Just to go over the basics, your CM Miscellaneous Special Revenue Fund includes your extra classroom clubs, scholarships, and educational contribution money. Your capital fund is your construction project activity. Your debt service fund is money held to pay long-term debt. Your school lunch fund is for all cafeteria activity. Your special aid fund accounts for grants, and then your general fund is all activity not required to be included in one of the other funds. 2 items to note here. You will see the capital fund at the bottom of the page. It does have a deficit fund balance. That is due to the fact that until you actually bond for your projects, you don't actually have revenue coming in for those projects. So it shows as a deficit fund balance until you bond for them. And your special aid fund, you will see has 0 fund balance. For your grants, you spend the money and then get reimbursed that amount. So it ends up with 0 fund balance. Page 18 is your second fund-based statement. This shows your revenues and expenses for the year for each of the funds. A few items to mention here. You will see, as I mentioned, the special aid fund has zero balance at year end. Your revenues match up to your expenses. Your general fund, you were just over $128 million in revenue. The largest portion of that is your real property taxes and then your state aid. For your expenditures, you were just under $122 million for the general fund, and the largest portion of that is your instruction expenses and your employee benefits. Page 20 starts the notes to the financial statements. There's a description of the district, and then there's more detail on the accounting policies and some of the numbers in the financial statements. I will just mention a couple of the notes. On page 42, there is the long-term debt footnote, and this shows the detail at the bottom of all of your bonds outstanding as of year end, and the principal and interest due for the next 5 years, and then for 5-year periods thereafter. One other item to mention, if you flip to page 50, since the district voters approve the general fund budget each year, you are required to provide information showing your budget to actual comparison. Page 50 shows the budget to actual for your revenues, and then page 51 for your expenses. You will see for the revenues, you ended up with about just under $2.4 million more revenue than budgeted. The main drivers of that was the use of money in property line. You will see that was about $1.2 million more than budgeted. That was due to earning more interest on your funds held. Page 51, as far as the comparison for your expenditures, you underspent the budget by about $2.9 million, or about 2%. Overall, very close to what you budgeted. A couple other supplemental schedules to mention. Page 55, at the bottom of the page is the section 1318 calculation. So New York State law requires that school districts are not allowed to have more than 4% of next year's budget in unassigned fund balance. And as of year end, Guilderland is at 3.9%, so you are fine. The next section of your audit is what's called the single audit. Because the district spent more than $750,000 of federal grant money during the year, we are required to perform a single audit where we look at controls and compliance related to the federal grants. You receive 2 audit reports related to that. The first is on page 59. This is our report on internal control and compliance with government auditing standards. And this is another clean, unmodified opinion. We did not find any issues. Page 61 is the second of the reports. This is our report on internal control and compliance for each major federal program. So each year we select 1 or more federal grants to test. This year we looked at section 611 and 619. And once again, it's an unmodified opinion, no issues to report. Page 64 is your schedule of expenditures of federal awards. So this details out all federal grant spending for the year for the district. So you will see at the bottom of the page just over $4 million of total federal grant spending for the year. And that is down substantially from last year just due to the fact that the COVID-19 funding ended in the fall. And then one other section related to the single audit on page 66 is your schedule of findings and question costs. Now the title of that makes it seem a little scary, but this is good news. This summary does show that you had unmodified clean audit opinions and no issues as far as internal control or compliance, and no findings. So overall, a very good audit. The last section of the audit is the extra classroom funds. So these are the student club money, but the district board does have oversight over those. Similar to past years, and the same for all of our districts, this opinion is a qualified opinion just because we can't prove that all money that is collected is submitted to the central treasurers. Page 70 shows the total balance in those accounts as of year end was just over $313,000. And then pages 71 and 72 detail out the activity in the clubs for the year by club. I know that was a very brief overview, but if anyone has any questions.
That's how we like it. Thank you very much.
No problem.
And the visual aid is very helpful also because we can refer back to it. So Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions? Do we need to, yes. So we have a resolution to accept the independent audit report. Is that a roll call or no?
I believe it is.
Yeah,
Let's do so to be safe.
sounds good to me. Excellent. So Kim, I think that's you.
That's me. I'll just start at the beginning. Blanca?
Yes,
Do we need a
thank-
motion to approve?
Yeah, do we need a motion? I think we do.
No.
I'm sorry,
For
my
a
bad.
roll call?
For roll call?
Still, no matter
Out of
what.
practice, thank you. So we'll go with Peter, second Kim. Okay,
Blanca?
yes, aye.
Katie DiPiero?
Yes.
Kelly Person?
Not here.
Oh, she's not here.
Kimberly Blasek? Sorry.
Yes.
Nina Kaplan?
Yes.
Rebecca Butterfield?
Yes.
Tara Malloy Graki?
Yes.
Meredith Briere?
Yes.
Peter Stapleton?
Yes.
Passes
Passes, yeah.
8-0.
8-0.
So I just want to pause and thank Jill for all of her work.
Yes.
Recognize John Rizzo, our business administrator, leads the team. Julie Adamack, Nicole Pavone, Judy Tori Reinhardt, Jean Sieg, Diane Tonini, Jeff Coons. We had a lot of people contribute to another successful year and audit. So thank you all.
Great, thank you very much. Is this made public? I just wonder.
Yes,
It is.
it will
okay.
be posted. We'll both put notice in the paper, and we will also post on the website.
Great, thank you for anyone watching at home that wants to take a peek. All right, let's move on to Superintendent and Athletic Director, who's going to give us update on the tennis courts. Dave first? Okay.
I'm going to chime in as needed.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. As I understand it, there's been quite a bit of discussion with our tennis courts, so I'm here to kind of provide some information, some of which you may know, some of which you may not. Share some concerns from my lens, our coach's lens, and kind of some recommended next steps, and certainly answer any questions if you have it. So for those that don't know, we have 2 sets of tennis courts here at the high school. All right, each set of courts have 4 courts. So we have 8 total courts on campus. We have our east courts closest to the football field and our west courts closest to the district office. We'll start with the east courts. Back in 2016, there was a capital project that included full reconstruction of our east tennis courts, and that was approved, and that work was done in 2017, before my time started, but this is information I received from Cliff. So full reconstruction on the east courts in the summer of 2017 that included new fencing, posts, nets, and surface. Those courts have held up reasonably well, but are now starting to show the signs of aging, some cracks on some courts. We do have repairs scheduled. They were actually supposed to come last week, but the weather kind of derailed their plans. So Copeland's coming out hopefully tomorrow. I haven't gotten confirmation, but I know the plan was this week to address the cracks. They're going to start on the east courts, and then they're going to work over to the west. So thank you to Cliff Nooney and the facilities department for scheduling those. I'm not an expert, but based on my quick Google research, these courts have a lifespan of about 10 to 15 years. So, you know, I'll get to this later, but I would certainly say that we should kind of think about full reconstruction on the east courts in the very near future. The west courts, back in 2019, there was a capital project, and I apologize if I'm misspeaking. I wasn't here at the time, but my understanding was that originally the proposal for the work on the west courts was full reconstruction, and for reasons I believe, I don't know if it didn't pass or it had to go back to, we had to put out a second proposal. We scaled back the project on the west court. So the work that was done in 2021, they got on those courts, there was partial renovations, it was resurfacing, and then in 2022 it was fence replacement. And so partial renovations versus full reconstruction, because the original capital project did not pass, so the tennis court work was scaled back considerably, and issues appeared rather quickly. They started very minor cracks on the very outside perimeter of the west courts, not on the courts of play, but certainly something that kind of caught our eye pretty quickly. We also noticed, it didn't take long after we found our first rainstorm. You'd see the next day we had some puddles that, normally on courts that are properly pitched and have good drainage, they need about an hour or two of sun and some wind, and they'll dry right up. And so some areas on the west courts are not, unless you actually physically go out there and blow the water off, push the water off. And so it's clearly some uneven surfaces on the west courts that we're dealing with. And when you get pooling of water, I mean, that could certainly make the courts a little slicker. I know they just pressure washed the east courts, which have helped. But the problems that I kind of just spoke about, I think, in my opinion, highlight the limitations of partial fixes versus full reconstruction. So I think originally it was like a $600,000 job that kind of got scaled back to closer to $250,000. And I'll say this again, Cliff Nooney and the facilities department is committed to addressing the cracks. I will say the cracks have gotten worse, probably much worse since our recent winter. They're starting to, they're on our courts, not on the perimeters of our courts, they're on our courts of play. Court 3, which is closest to Regan's office, is probably the worst one right now. So, we're definitely seeing the limitations of the partial fix versus the full reconstruction. So, but I do want to add that, Cliff has scheduled Copeland to come in and, address the cracks. They're going to, like I said, they're going to start with the east and then they're going to work over to the west. And so we appreciate his support there. Overall concerns, needs, both sets of courts, in my opinion, should be considered for full reconstruction and the next capital project put out to voters. The east courts, like I said, are reaching that 10-year time span, and the west, didn't get a full reconstruction. So I think we're quickly seeing the after effects of that. Current conditions impact playability, safety, and overall experience. And I'll add, tennis participation here is strong. We've got varsity girls and JV girls that compete in the fall. We have varsity boys and JV boys that compete in the spring. All of those teams are also using them in the summer months as well. We have regular community use. I take a look almost every time I drive out, when I leave work, and there's almost always community members playing on the courts. We have youth camps. 15 Love is a group that runs youth camps throughout the entire summer. We actually have adult leagues that are playing matches on the west court. So getting a lot of use. And I'll add our programs here, I think, in my opinion, are among the strongest in the league. So I think the players in the community deserve top facilities here at Guilderland. I want to shout out Guilderland girls tennis specifically. They are currently unbeaten this fall season. I just got word from Coach Murray. They defeated Ballston Spa tonight. So they're leading the very competitive Suburban Council. So shout out to Coach Deb Murray and her team. So just in closing, what I would ask, I know these are very expensive projects. So my goal was to come and provide some information from my lens to you guys. Those are obviously big decisions that are outside of my pay grade. And so I fully understand the cost of these projects. I've been in this role in 2 other districts before I got here to Guilderland, and tennis courts, that was a tough one in my previous 2 districts as well. And so they're expensive, I know that, but I do want to advocate because I think it gets a ton of use, and our teams are strong, and they deserve the best. So I certainly appreciate that Cliff Nooney and the facilities department has a plan to a short-term plan to address some of the major cracks on the courts. I'm a little fearful that those are going to be short-term Band-Aids, just based on my experience doing this. I've seen them come in before, and they do fix the problem in the short term, but it just masks it, for a season, maybe 2. I know we've got a winter coming up in a couple months, so that'll impact the courts. But he has assured us, myself and Dan, that he will continue to make plans to have those fixes every year until, which is why I'm here talking to you guys, we hopefully put up the courts for full reconstruction, both sets, in the very near future. I know they're expensive and likely have to be a part of a capital project. And so I would make that recommendation to include both sets of tennis courts, full reconstruction in the next capital project that goes out to voters. And certainly can answer any questions if you have them.
I do have, go ahead, Rebecca.
I don't know if this is directed to you, Dave, and I appreciate you presenting tonight, so it might not be directed to you. But I think my frustration when I heard from the community about the tennis courts was that we just had a capital project like 4 months ago that was $57 or $59 million. And I don't remember hearing about the tennis courts needing reconstruction or or anything, remediation. I could have missed it, but I really don't remember hearing about it. And then it seems like we passed the capital project that did not include anything with the tennis courts, and then we're hearing all of these, terrible things and these potential safety hazards. And it just makes me wonder, what other issues are we missing that weren't included in the capital project that could have, deleterious consequences to our students or staff? Again, it may not be to you, so I apologize. You're just at the podium.
No, it's a good question. It's a
Yeah.
good question, and it's tough, right? I mean, I just kind of shared what my quick Google search shows of a time span of a lifespan of a tennis court is. So knowing the timeline of the court work that's been done, that's a tough, and it's an expensive project. That's a very tough ask to say, hey, we just had some, $300,000 worth of work in 2021, 2022. Let's put this up for 2 years later, 3 years later, 4 years later. That's tough. That's a lot of money. But I'll also say that I think the cracks have gotten worse even since last season. So I think it's kind of twofold. Those would be my responses to that.
I feel like, and I could be wrong because I'm 47, I feel like early on, the courts were mentioned, but never made it to like a priority A, B, or C.
Only in 2019. They were not mentioned
Right,
during
I mean at the
ours.
facilities committee level.
Yeah, they were definitely not mentioned during this last go for.
But I wasn't here in 2019.
No, I wasn't on the board, but I was on the facilities committee. It was $41.3 million that was rejected, and then we came back with 31.3. And so we had to take 10 million out, but the courts were mentioned then. They weren't mentioned on the Future Ready grant that we just
I was going to
did.
say, I think they were mentioned, there was a tiny bit of time before we became the Future Ready Task Force, when there was just a regular old facilities conversation.
The only thing I found was an email from 2022. That was it. There's been no, I think I shared the same concerns that Rebecca did, where we hadn't heard anything, nothing from parents, nothing from the facilities. But also, if we were to even add it, would we even get state aid at this point, just based on how old the courts are?
It's challenging to give a definitive answer, but generally, building aid is based on probable useful life, which is often 15 years. So lean towards no, but it's hard to give a definitive answer until it goes before them.
Could you speak to the non-athletic use for physical education of those courts as well?
Yeah, our PE classes are out there quite frequently whenever the weather's nice. They're
Just for
playing on
tennis?
those courts, yep, as well. So the high school phys ed department uses those. So it gets its fair share of use for sure.
But not just for tennis? Are they using
No,
it
not just for tennis. It's a net game that they're out there playing, but sometimes they're playing like a tennis game with their feet out there. Yeah, what is that, melon ball? Pickleball is exploding, and I think it's only a matter of time before that's a interscholastic sport. Just my opinion, just saying. So, yeah.
So is the use of the courts affecting the usability, or is it just weather that breaks it down?
I'm not an expert in that area, but I don't think there's anything that we're doing that's
Okay.
helping, deteriorate the courts
That
at a
leads
faster rate.
into my second question, which is, you mentioned various other programs that are using the courts. Do they pay for that, or do they get to use the courts for free?
The adult group does pay to use our courts. I'm not sure about the youth camp. Generally, we treat our youth groups as kind of our next closest groups to sports teams here. It's our next generation of athletes. So we generally don't charge them to use our facilities unless it requires a custodian to be there outside of normal hours. So I think the only group that's paying to use those courts is the adult league that plays in the summer evenings.
Thank you.
Yep.
It'd be covered under board policy on building use.
I have a question, Dave.
Sure.
So one of the things I share the same frustration because we probably could have sprinkled it into the big capital project that passed, but it didn't make it that far. I know that there were conversations. When have you heard about it? Have you heard about it since 2019? I think what's happening is that maybe the board isn't aware, but you've been contacted by parents or the coach, so it's been on your radar. It's
Yeah,
not a brand new thing that suddenly people are asking for new courts.
What I can remember, right back to specifically the west courts, because they were finished before I started here, we quickly noticed small cracks on the perimeter. Now, it wasn't on the court of play,
Like right after?
like right after. And it didn't take us long to realize they weren't the most level courts.
Okay.
But again, we scaled back that project. So, at that point in time, is it ideal? Absolutely not. But is it a situation where they were unsafe and not playable? No, not in my opinion. And so it was, hey, this is what we're left with until we have another opportunity to advocate for hopefully a full reconstruction project.
And so then my next question, sorry, Nina, then I'll call on you. I heard a number, and again, 47, can't remember where. Is it actually like $20,000 to fix them each time, or how much are we talking about?
He's got a group coming. I don't know. I didn't see that. My guess is it's not cheap, and they'll patch up the cracks, and it will hopefully get us through the year. And my guess is we'll have to readdress it next year.
Just in terms of being cost effective.
Yeah, I've seen those repairs done. I mean, they're aesthetically not the most pleasing things. They'll patch them right up, but it will deal with the issue for a short term.
The last thing I just want to add, Meredith, to your point about other groups, one of the groups that you mentioned, 15 Love, they are a program that, do you know who they are? Or no? Okay, right. So it's kids coming from urban areas that don't have courts, and they come and use our courts. But I've noticed that they're the only team that uses them that cleans up after themselves, which I've always appreciated. I've seen people out there like brushing afterwards, so I actually do appreciate that. Nina.
Yeah. So I just want to ask about the timeline of the courts. Maybe I didn't hear correctly, but it seemed to imply that the general deterioration seems to be faster than what would be anticipated generally. Is there possibly another underlying cause as to what's going on that might explain why there's such a sudden drastic shift in the courts, in the status that they are compared to the last few years? That may have been why it was an oversight. If maybe it wasn't an oversight, perhaps there's other factors here that are contributing to the general problem of what's existing in that space.
Well, if Cliff Nooney was here, he would talk about the melting and the rain in both of the areas where our courts are is not the best. And I'm sure that's impacting our courts maybe, which is why we're seeing this before the 10 to 15 year in the East, which is holding up better. The West, I could certainly say, I think if it was a full reconstruction project, I don't think we would see the issues that we're seeing right now on those courts.
So I think part of what you have to deal with is a high water table. So we have that constant freeze thaw, which is contributing to it. So in a reconstruction, that's part of what would have to take place, is dealing with the groundwater, which is going to increase the cost of the court just because there is a high groundwater. It's not like you're building them up on a hill where it naturally drains. So that's part of what's contributing to this. And it's that back and forth temperature swing that we have is what's causing the majority of this rapid deterioration, if you will. So right now, let's just be clear. The courts are not deemed unsafe. They're not perfect. We have a repair cycle that's sort of starting to address that. And we are estimating that they will, in theory, with continued maintenance, last about 5 years, which would put it right in cycle with most likely the next capital project, which would be a natural thing. So on our internal list, when Dave and Mr. Nooney and I met, it's already included on our list of things to view. And based on the feedback, it's definitely going to be one of the priority items in the athletic realm for our next project.
Oh, Parth, I'm sorry.
I had one question about the repairs you were saying we're thinking of doing, the one like the banded kind of thing. So does it address the divots in the courts and like the water, like not being able to get the water off properly? It doesn't address any of that?
It will not. It'll only address the cracks in our courts.
Okay.
So they'll patch up the cracks. Yeah. I think the only way to address the uneven surfaces would be a full reconstruction.
Right, and so that's an important point, Parth. It's really not just the cracks. It's these like sinkhole type things that collect the water and they're all black from mildew, but they are an uneven surface and people do literally roll their ankles in them. I think we've been lucky in that they're not on the part where you're playing. They're on like outside of the box.
I wouldn't say sinkhole.
Correct. They're not. It's small indentations in the surface. It's not perfectly flat. In general, most athletes that are playing on the court are not going to be injured by these because to some degree, most courts are not perfectly flat all the way across. So sinkholes, I think it might be a little strong of a description.
I'm going to have to disagree with you.
I'm sure you are. I've walked the courts, but I think
They
at this
feel like
point, they haven't been deemed unsafe, whereas if the holes were big enough, I think we definitely would have gotten a, hey, don't use these at this point in time. So,
I encourage everyone in the community to go and settle this dispute and look and see if they think they look like sinkholes.
either way, it's probably not going to change our timeline. The only thing it's probably going to do is people are going to make their own choice of whether they use it or not at this point until they.
But again, I think they are outside of the square playing area, so the cracks would help with the playing.
Does this uneven surface affect ball play at all? Like how it bounces?
I think because it's outside of the box, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Right?
Can I comment on that? Or
Hard to answer that. I mean, for certain, it would be hard to answer that. I guess if hit in the absolute perfect spot, it could, you know, but I think it'd be hard for me to give you a definitive answer on that.
I think that would be true on any field to play, whether you're playing soccer or field hockey or,
sure,
you know what I mean?
The biggest thing, I mean, I feel really bad for Coach Murray and our other coaches when they have to go out and get the water out of those areas because the sun doesn't take. You could just it just pools.
And
So,
she also doesn't have an assistant coach, so she's out there doing it all.
That's correct.
On 2 courts. Yes.
correct.
Which we should discuss across the entire athletic,
I was-
not
Yes.
just 2 teams.
So, Parth, were you going to say something else?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to try and answer your question a bit. Like Mr. Austin said, it's really hard to answer that. Like, but it's not like when you hit the ball, like you hit it down this way, it's gonna curve all the way, like out that way. But I have heard coach complaining multiple times that the courts are uneven. So because of that, the water stays. It's not like the best like way to play. Obviously, it's not something where again it's gonna completely affect the game. You can't play at all. But it's definitely not ideal circumstances. So I just wanted to comment on that because coach did bring it up before.
And the girls are undefeated?
Yes.
They are unbeat. Yeah.
So I think they've learned how to play on the court.
Yeah, right?
They've done a fabulous job.
So it's not on the agenda, but we have circled this topic a lot, and the athletic director is standing in front of us. So I do just wonder. I'm going to phrase this as a question. I think most of us would probably like more information on the coaching assistant coaches in general across the board. So I don't know if maybe for next time as a follow-up to Kim's point, which is now the second time she's made it, we would like to hear about assistant coaches across the board. How were the decisions made? Who has them? Who doesn't? Is there in fact a disparity between male teams and female teams? That sort of a thing.
It's a great question. I mean, I wasn't prepared to talk about that
that's fine.
tonight,
So
but I
if you
certainly
wanna
can
do the
answer any
next-
questions.
No
I will say that I have, you know, you could go back the past couple budget cycles. I have advocated for addition of assistant coaches in multiple sports at the varsity level, including field hockey. It is my, certainly, I would always advocate for more support for our programs, but I also know that comes with those requests is cost, and when you're balancing a budget, that's, you got a lot of people asking for a lot of things. But I will say it's an easy thing for me to dig up because I could just search my stage 1 and stage 2 from the last couple of years because
That
I've
would be
included those.
great. At one point, one of our board members asked for a list of the things that don't make it. And
I think that was last year.
Was it last year? I don't remember who it was, but it was a brilliant idea. We would like to know what doesn't make it at the end of the day. So yeah, if you could get back to us with that, that'd be great. I don't think you need to show up. You could also email it to us.
Okay. Yeah, I could dig those up.
I just have one other thing. It was brought to my attention that the boys' athletics got more money in the budget than the girls. The boys got $119,484 more than the girls in the budget. The boys got $329,664, and the girls received $210,180. That was in the budget. And I said, I have no idea what goes into the budget. Like, why is it so much more for the boys' sports? I don't know if it's equipment. I don't know.
Actually, didn't a student?
It was a student, yeah.
Yeah, I actually just met with a couple students. They were great. 8th graders came and asked some very, very good questions before I got here.
Yeah, yeah.
Just advocating for their
Yeah.
experience and for, female sports. And so they asked that very question.
She
And
wanted me to explain it to her, and I'm like, I don't know.
yeah, and I said, listen, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I can tell you that one discrepancy that I will tell you that will explain some of that is there is a sport that primarily is played by males that requires about $10,000 to $12,000 at minimum every year by law to recondition the equipment before we're able to safely use it next year, and that is football. So
Oh, yeah.
I did kind of point to that budget code, and I said, well, you're looking at about $10,000 to $12,000 difference there between your boys' general supply code, which is anything from uniforms to game balls to cones. I mean, you name it. And so I said that's likely your biggest discrepancy between the boys' code and the girls' code. But honestly, the other athletic codes, I mean, you could look at them. If they're not identical, they're almost identical.
Okay.
But I would point to that as one of the reasons for the discrepancy. There's no other sport that we offer that requires me to turn the equipment in at the end of every year to have reconditioned. And that's
Right,
the
you
only
need to
sport
have
that we have. So,
for football, absolutely.
and that's only gone up, like the cost of everything, it's only gone up.
Yeah, okay.
So as we review the information asked about coaches, sports, assistant coaches, and things like that, this is a natural, we'll be able to tease out what sports we have, what coaches we have, and then look at the cost that way, which would give a more accurate answer as to why there is a discrepancy.
Yeah, because
in
that's
there.
more than 12,000, it seems
Right. It's all tied together. So we'll give a more
Sure.
informed answer
And I have no
in the
idea
athletic
how much
report.
an assistant
Thank you.
coach costs,
I
to
can-
be honest with you, so.
I can share that outside of salaries and athletics, the boys' budget was $120,300 and the girls' budget was $118,272.
That was for coach, okay.
Not exactly accurate, but like a couple $1,000s off.
Okay.
I think just an overall would be good to know, especially before we start adding new teams to the mix, seeing what we currently have right now that really needs that support as well. Because then it's going to come down to where those new teams too are going to need that support, and we're just throwing out new teams and no support to build up.
All right.
The other thing I would add is we did have an internal audit on Title IX and equity in 21-22. That, like all internal audits, had some findings, but nothing substantial about equitable differences between boys and girls funding or resources.
What year was that part of the audit committee? I think it was
21-22.
21-22, okay.
When you get back to us with the info, one thing that did stand out to me, and I'm appreciative because my daughter played flag football, that there was an assistant coach, but I am kind of wondering how they ended up with an assistant coach when Coach Sykes didn't, and Coach Sykes has been asking for a while.
It's a very, very valid concern
Okay.
that they brought up. I mean, that sport was coming like a freight train, though. I mean, the popularity of that sport has exploded, and so I think the first year we did not jump in. Most of the other teams in our league did in that sport. So there was this model that they kind of laid out there in that sport for those that waited for year two to start the sport up, and it might not be an answer that's satisfying to the field hockey athletes or the field hockey coaches, but the answer is we kind of took that model, and that's the recommendation that I put forward when starting that sport.
We followed the lead.
Girls flag football, is that, listen, X number of teams in our league are already supporting this program, and here's what all the schools are doing with coaches, offensive coach, defensive coach, and so that's why the recommendation was put out there. But I fully understand that that's a tough pill to swallow from their lens. I understand that.
Thank you. Go ahead, Meredith.
Are there any sports that are declining in participation?
Boy, that's a great, I don't have the numbers, but I don't think so. I think since COVID, I think COVID has maybe impacted some sports more than others. Girls soccer, we decided on 3 levels this year instead of 4. That was our previous varsity coach, rest in peace, Coach Cochran. She actually had hinted that might be something we should be talking about for this year, so she kind of knew that was coming. We aren't alone there. I mean, some other schools in our league are doing the same. So for the most part, we're pretty good. I mean, we get about 50% of our student population participating in at least one sport here, 25% participating in 2. So we need that. We're a smaller school compared to some of the other schools in our league. So we need that multi-sport mentality, and for the most part, we have that, which is good. So numbers are good, but our enrollment's, declining at the elementary level. So that's something we got to keep an eye on going forward. That's likely going to have an impact on our numbers. Maybe not in the next 2-3 years, but certainly the next 8 to 10 years. So
Well, thank you very much. Dave.
thank you guys for all of your help and support. Appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, and next we have the consent items. Can I get a motion to accept the minutes and the CPSC recommendations financials? I think we were over by Rebecca. A second to Meredith. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Passes 8-0, 7-0? 8-0. Thank you. Okay, and then we have curriculum and instruction. Take it away, Rachel.
Good evening. I have one accolade from our music department. Each year, thousands of student musicians in New York State compete for an opportunity to be selected for one of the most prestigious NYSSMA Conference All-State Music Ensembles. Admission to these highly selective groups is based upon the score received the previous spring during the NYSSMA Solo Evaluation Festival, where each student performed before a certified adjudicator who carefully evaluated every aspect of their performance. Selection to an all-state ensemble is regarded as one of the highest honors a student musician can achieve in New York State. The Guilderland Music Department is proud to celebrate 6 students who have been selected to a NYSSMA All-State Music Ensemble, including Grace Foran for mixed chorus, Adam Horalchuk for symphonic band, Lindsay Hogan for mixed chorus, Anthony Padula for symphonic band, Caleb Pinder for wind ensemble, and Yunsu Sam Wu for wind ensemble. Additionally, we had several students who were chosen as alternates: Christopher Hoffman, Emily McGuire, Alex Parmiter, Gavin Reyes, Zexi John Wang, and Toby Weiss. These talented students will spend 4 days in Rochester rehearsing with other gifted student musicians from across New York State, with the event culminating in a concert at Kodak Hall at Eastman Theater at the Eastman School of Music. So congratulations to those students, their families, and their teachers.
Great, thank you very much. Superintendent information?
Yeah, just a reminder that October is National Principals Month, to those of you in the back. So it's going to commemorate each October as a time to formally recognize and express your gratitude for the leadership, dedication, and significant contributions of our school principals to our student achievement, our school success, and our communities. The district would like to acknowledge and thank all of our building principals, assistant principals, and our house principals for their enthusiasm and unwavering commitment to our students, teachers, staff, and families, and the work that you do every single day. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
So your month is starting tomorrow. So remember to use that. The next one, I just got back this afternoon from the New York State Council of School Superintendents Fall Summit. A variety of presentations and information. I will coalesce that into a summary and get that to you, the things that I learned. We talked about some things about finance at the federal level and at the state level. Some things good, some things bad, but we'll see as time goes on. So I'll have more information for you coming up soon. Community health update. In our overview, obviously we had a case of typhoid fever in one of our elementary schools. At this point, there's only the single identified case, and the individual is asymptomatic, which is good. We have procedures in place at Guilderland Elementary to take care and address this issue and prevent any potential spread if there was any. And the individual has been cleared by the Department of Health and their physician. The next, we have a visit from Senator Fahey. She will be at Westmere Elementary tomorrow, and I'll be touring around with her and Dr. Beanie around our elementary school tomorrow at about 11:30-ish. So we thank her for coming to see our kids. The next one, employee recognition ceremony. We're excited to announce that this year's employee recognition ceremony will be held at the start of our next board meeting, which is on Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. The reception will be held beginning at 6:30. Following the ceremony will be our regularly scheduled October board meeting, which will promptly start at 7. So congratulations to our people who will be recognized, and that will be coming in October. All right, thank you.
Thank you. And now board president information. Item A, New York State Boards Association 2025, the proposed resolutions. Earlier this month, they released the proposed resolutions. Everyone should have voted at this point. I believe we received the Google Forms. And also for Board of Education policy review, the following policy exhibit and regulations are presented for information and discussion. And you should have those. I don't know how many there are. There's a lot. I would say like a dozen. And again, those are just for review. Are we? Okay, just for review. And then school business management action items.
Thank you. I have several items for your consideration tonight. The first are extra classroom activity funds reports for the quarterly statement ending June 30th, 2025, and the annual statement for the 2024-25 school year.
Okay, can I get a motion to accept the proposal where we're at Meredith? Second, Tara. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Passes 8-0.
Thank you. My next are our federal IDEA flow-through funds agreements that we have to issue to all of our partners.
All right, motion to approve the IDA flow. So that's Katie, second Nina. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Passes 8-0.
Thank you. My next item is a resolution to correct the 2025-2026 tax roll for 2 tax bills that had clerical errors in them.
Okay, motion to approve the application for corrected tax rolls. Pete, second Kim. Any questions or comments? Those in favor? Passes 8-0.
Thank you. My next item is a resolution to award the environmentally friendly ice melt bid to Site One Landscape.
Okay, can I get a motion to award the bid for environmentally friendly ice melts? Kim, second Rebecca. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Passes 8-0.
Thank you. My next item is an internship agreement with Binghamton University for the placement of students for internship and clinical experiences.
Okay, motion to, I didn't know we had that actually. Motion to approve the agreement with Binghamton University. Meredith, second Tara. Any questions or comments?
Question?
Oh, Peter.
It's a 5-year agreement. We're okay with that?
It was reviewed by our council.
Maybe that's why I've never seen it. Okay, cool. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor? Passes 8-0.
Thank you. My next item, is a scholarship in the memory of Christine Rose Cochran. She was a girls soccer coach who tragically passed away. This would be a $500 scholarship awarded annually to a senior member of the girls soccer team who's a student who exemplifies leadership, service to others, and a strong work ethic both on and off the field.
Motion to approve the scholarship. I don't even remember where we were. It sounds like Katie and Nina. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? 8-0.
Thank you. My final item are donations. We have a Whirlpool 2-door refrigerator with a top-loading freezer donated to the FMS Science Department by Doug Hennessy. Christopher Monforti donated uniforms for the girls volleyball team. And Chris and Marissa DeCoco donated graphing calculators to the high school.
Wow, thank you. That's very nice. Motion to accept the donations. Peter, second Kim. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? 8-0. Thank you again to the members of our community. Superintendent action items.
Okay, I have one item today, the co-curricular club approval. Resolved the board approved the following requests to form co-curricular clubs. The Gilderland High School French Club, Mr. Callahan. Farnsworth Middle School French Club, Beverly Baudet. And the Farnsworth Middle School Zelda Clan, Mr. Flynn.
Okay, motion to approve the request for co-curricular clubs. Kim, second Rebecca. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Passes 8-0. And then board president action items. We would like to have a special board meeting to set our board goals. Is everyone, I think, already agreed to that? Do we need to vote on it? To have a special meeting? No? No? Okay, I'm getting just nods. No.
No, but it would be a special meeting, so we would have to advertise it in advance once we
Okay.
set the date.
Yeah.
So
So-
it's just an advertising at this point, so.
Cool.
If
So
you want to make the motion, you can, or you can just,
I think we
let it
should
fly.
make a motion, make it official. Okay? Meredith, second Tara. Any questions or comments? No? All those in favor to have a special board meeting to set our board goals? 8-0. Okay. So the place to start would probably be to see if Michelle or Kim not sure which one, could send us an email, like a Google poll, right, to see our availability. Thank you. And also the old board goals, right, the ones that we're working from would be great. Thank you. Board committee reports, audit? Is audit met?
Audit. We met on September 17th. We don't have another meeting scheduled, but we kind of went over everything that we went over the audit.
The fruits of your labor? Okay, great.
Weston Company, yeah.
Business practices? Okay. What happened to schedule? Who's on business?
Nothing.
Nothing.
There's no chair yet, but so
Oh,
they
there's
have-
no chair
because
yet.
we
It
haven't
hasn't
met
been
yet.
scheduled. Oh, okay. We should probably schedule one soon.
We'll probably soon.
So who's gonna do it? Because it was Judy, wasn't it?
No, it was
No.
Tara. I will
It was
schedule
me.
when we need to have.
Oh, okay.
I'll schedule
Sorry.
when we need to hold one.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
Andrew schedules. it.
Tori will schedule it.
Ah, okay.
How could you forget?
Sorry, I did. I know. I'm really sorry. I remember that was like you had just started.
I just
and we were
started.
Like, here you go.
Okay, sure.
Okay, DEI committee, we met last
We did.
24th.
24th. Does anyone want to give an update?
I can try.
Thank you, Dina.
All right. So it was the introductory meeting, and we welcomed new members of the committee, and Dan Mayberry as well on the committee, and outlined some of the goals that the DI committee is going to be addressing, and announced the new subcommittees that are members of the subcommittees that would be broken up into. And the subcommittees are research, community engagement, and communications, and student voice. So the first meeting basically consisted of just introducing the purpose of the committee in many different forms, as well as relating it to the new state ed portrait of a graduate that incorporates the DEI, the culturally responsive goals that are relevant to DEI. So anything else to add in?
Nope, that was fabulous. Thank you, Nina.
Yeah.
That was a good meeting. Okay, and are there any new, what? Oh, policy. Did I skip communications?
You did.
My bad, communications? I skipped communications.
Okay.
Sorry.
We will be having our first meeting on October 7th at 5:30.
Take it away, Peter.
Policy met on September 22nd, reviewed a lot of what you have tonight for first reads, a couple that we're recommending to rescind, and we do not have another meeting currently scheduled.
I have to say, of all the policy meetings I've been to, that was super productive. So kudos, because you were the new chair.
Thank you.
All right, any public comments come in while we've been meeting? Let me also check my email.
I do not have any.
Okay. And then board issues, ideas, and sharing. Does anybody have anything? If not,
I
I'll
have something
jump in.
really short.
Go ahead.
I have a connection for a community school. This is a woman who set up a community school in Albany, so I'm just not sure what to ask her to come and do with us, if she could Zoom me, I'm not sure, so, but I just want to put it out there that I have.
That's great. I
have a
would
contact.
actually like to learn more about it. I
Okay.
think we'll probably, that would be something that comes out of our board goals meeting. If
Okay,
we
so
officially
after
make
that,
it,
we'll,
right,
okay,
we'll
okay,
say
great.
if
I'll let her know.
that kind of thing.
Yep, her name is Karen Alford. She was, she worked for United Federation of Teachers, which is New York City schools, but then she comes up to Albany in this area a lot to help
Cool.
facilitate community schools.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anything else before I go? Go ahead.
So I wanted to say, even though he's not here, thank you to Matthew Grunert for coming tonight. I have spoken to him before and various members of both of the other boards, and I'm glad that this is getting pushed forward to finally kind of have some board outreach between the three boards, especially because Guilderland doesn't really have a central place that we gather. I think it's so important that all of our municipal services kind of come together to serve the community in the best capacity that we can. So I wanted to thank Matthew and say that I'm really excited to hopefully talk to all of you more about the possibilities of board liaisons to the other boards. So it's something that I ran on. It's something that I'm really passionate about. So if you have questions, let me know.
Can I just respond? I think I'm not opposed to it at all, but we did try to have a partnership of some sort with the town a little while back, and were met with complete silence. So I guess I'm just curious, again, not against it, as to why now? Because we really tried, Marie tried, we tried, and I'm just curious as to how this is gonna work.
I think part of that might be that there's 2 new people involved as executives in organizations of the 3. So I think that
Yeah.
might be part of it.
Yeah, that's a
Just-
good point.
I'm not saying that is, but I'm saying
No,
that
I mean,
might be part of it,
I'm
so.
all for it. It just has to be like a group effort, not just specific. Because if it's not everyone vested in wanting to do it, then it's,
So I think we should probably consider adding it as an agenda item so that
Yeah,
everyone can
absolutely.
say their piece. I would probably piggyback off of some of the things that you've said, and afford Dan also the opportunity to tell us what he's already done, because some things have been sort of happening in terms of communication with other boards. Has been pretty proactive. So, can we decide now to have it as an agenda item or propose it as an agenda item? And then Dan will talk about, okay, so is there anybody that's opposed to discussing it as an agenda item?
No, I definitely think we should
no, I
discuss it.
think,
No, I
I'd
think
love
it's
to
good.
discuss
Great,
it.
so we'll add it as an agenda item. Thank you. Rebecca, did I pick on you?
Did
Were
you?
raising your
I
hand?
was raising my hand.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. I have a very quick thing. All teachers are mandated reporters. There's a new mandated reporter training update that's
Yes.
mandatory by the end of November 2026 on implicit bias and specifically recognizing child abuse and neglect in children with intellectual disabilities or special needs. It's very brief because I know all of us had to do like a rather lengthy one, but this one is very brief and really targeted just on those 2 things. I did it myself and it was really great. So you have a year, but the sooner you get it done, it's over with, and you learn something.
Is that, what website is that? Is that?
It's on New York State mandatedreporter.org.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, and it's my turn, I think. So, actually, Parth, I wanted to circle back to some of the ideas that you brought up last time. So the first one I'd like to circle back to is, will probably require Mike to answer, but it could be you, Dan. I'm just wondering where we are on the cameras for the honors art students. Sorry, Mike. Thank you. Thank you.
You know better.
Smart
We
man.
should offer you snacks. Thank you.
Right now, we have a plan in place where all of the art teachers, not just the AP art teachers, can go and get access to an unlocking device for their classes, can unlock the honor pouches so the kids can use their phones.
Awesome.
And can use them for whatever they need them to.
Great.
And then as
Awesome.
soon as they're done, we just ask again that they
To
keep
lock
them
'em
secure,
again.
lock them back up and return it. We are investigating a more permanent solution with digital cameras, but right now, that's just in the investigation phase.
Awesome.
So.
Thank you so much for moving quickly on that.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing it up, Parth.
Wait.
Oh, okay, sorry, Mary.
So the Ultimate Enterprise article basically blasted us for not asking why teachers weren't using their phones to take these photos. So can we maybe address that?
I thought about it as a potential alternative, but the only problem is, first off, in the case of Ms. Gockley, for example, she would have to take pictures of at least 20 students, like 20 students' artwork, and keep that in a safe place. And that is a lot for her to have on her hands alone. And then second, there's no really fast way to transfer it over to the students. AirDrop is one great thing, but I'm a Samsung, for example, so Apple can't AirDrop to Samsung. Samsung can do it the other way around, just putting that out there.
Well, and it doesn't matter if it's in a Yonder pouch. You can't do
Yeah,
that
that's
anyway.
another thing too. And
You would get it when you leave.
You have internet
You get it when
access.
you
It doesn't block.
You would get it when you leave the building. You would get all of the graphics at once.
you wouldn't get it if you emailed it. So if you email it, the resolution does go down pretty significantly. So I thought of that as a potential alternative, but the only way we could potentially, in my opinion, see that being something that's reliable is A, connect them cable to cable. Again, how are we going to do that with the Yonder pouches? B, we airdrop it or something, which isn't accessible to all students like me, for example.
And I don't think that burden should be put on a teacher.
Same, I was just gonna
I
say.
agree.
Yeah.
We can't.
I see.
I just wanted to answer the question because it never was.
I just ignored it.
Not only that, but
Okay.
in that situation, you're asking a teacher to use their personal device.
And
Sure.
their data, yeah.
And their
So
data, right?
That's not anything that
For those of us who
should
can't
even
afford
be
unlimited,
considered,
yeah.
which I don't
Right.
think it would be.
And they got a plan.
You run into the possibility of a teacher accidentally through that process sharing their personal cell phone number to students and it just opens up a scenario where it's not really a good idea, safe idea for our teachers.
Or you can accidentally hit the wrong picture. Like if we're being honest, I've done that before. You know, I've meant to send a
Right,
recipe.
send the wrong picture to the
sent my
wrong
child's
page, yeah.
face. Yeah, I mean, so
I've done that a lot.
Can of worms. Are you listening out on Enterprise? The answer
Yep.
is can of worms.
Can of worms.
I missed that, so thank you for bringing that to our attention. My turn. Okay. Also, Peter. Parth. Let's circle back. Sorry. Maybe you guys should have been next to each other. Let's circle back to your idea that you mentioned last time about having 2 ex officio student board members.
Yeah, of course. So it's something I also wanted to bring up today as well and like talk about a little bit because I attended the ex officio board member training a couple weeks ago, and I learned a lot there. I got to see what other schools are doing, and I noticed that most other schools, I only met one other student who was in a similar situation as me. Most other schools have more than one ex officio member. Most that I saw had 2. I personally think 2 is enough, like just having 2 students, like one other student right here helping me out, for example. But some schools even had committees, and these committees have been working for years. That committee, for example, was telling me that they're able to do things like implement x-ray machines at the entrances to scan for like things like vapes, electronics outside of the yonder pouches, stuff like that. Improve projects like the walls and improving like internal improvements. So I'm not saying that we need a committee per se. I'm not vouching for a committee, but I'm saying that at least more than one student is able to accomplish a lot more than what one student alone could do.
Does anyone have any questions?
So did you find that was the majority, or like I think the policy, does that differentiate the number of students in the buildings in the district?
Do you mind explaining in like another way?
I thought that I read something about the policy that the number of students in a district would differentiate that the number of students on the board. So is that something you saw? That did you happen to see some districts tended to have more than one rather than other districts?
So what I saw, I couldn't talk to every single student there, but I saw Bethlehem, for example, has 2 student reps. Schenectady was the one I was talking about with the committee of representatives, but again, they have a very, very large school, especially compared to us.
I'm reading the law and it says at least 1 student, at least 1. So
Yeah.
2 would be within the
Shen only had 1, and Shen's class size is much larger.
huge, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we need to beat Shen. I mean,
It looks like Albany
answer
has
is
2,
yes.
but one's an alternate.
Jeez.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so what would be next steps? Is it something that we hand off to the policy committee? Is it something that we make an official agenda item? I'm thinking policy committee.
I'm thinking we probably should take it at policy committee first to make sure that
Great.
that we're addressing it in the policy, if the policy prohibits us or not. I don't know. I need to read it
It
closer.
would call for an addendum, I'm
It
assuming.
would call
if we're able to do
potentially,
it.
yes.
Okay.
So we would probably start there, I would suggest.
Great, so let's do this. Anybody opposed to doing that? All right, cool. Awesome.
we can
Thank you,
investigate,
Parth.
sure.
Great. Anything else? Any other board ideas sharing? Okay,
Just basic happy news.
Awesome.
6th graders are having a ball so far at FMS. And I seem to have been over there a lot when they're doing stuff. So they had their club mashup, which was insanity, essentially. And then they had their 6th grade fun night, which is always the best night in the world because it's their first taste of freedom. And so I just want to say great job to the 6th grade groups and things like that. They've been just
very nice,
knocking it out. So
awesome. And I would like to thank Dan. Dan has been keeping us apprised of his schedule, but the community should be aware that this gentleman is really I think one of his goals for the entire year was to attend as many events as possible and meet as many people as possible, but he's literally, you should see his week. It's jam-packed. with activities. And so we appreciate that effort, Dan. And
Thank
you've
you.
also attended the football games, which get super crowded at lunch. So
Yeah,
thank you.
after 2 ice cream socials.
Right, the same night. 2 ice
Yeah.
cream socials and then a football game.
And one of which he actually scooped at.
You scooped? Oh my
I did.
goodness. All right, very cool.
Gildon Elementary is a contest with Dr. Lockwood.
Who won?
I say I won, but he said he was scooping out of 2 different boxes,
Oh
so
my goodness.
we'll call it a draw, I guess. at this
He is
point.
so cool. That's what I was wondering. Well, thank you to Dr. Lockwood as well. Thank you. Do we want to reconvene executive session, or are we good? Because it's an option if anybody needs it. We're good? All right. I just thought it wrong. All right. Motion to adjourn. Nina, second Kim. Any questions or comments? Nope. Everybody in favor? 8-0. Thank you, everyone.